Hey there, friends. I hope all of you are doing really well. Last week, well, it was actually a couple weeks ago now, Michelle sent us a wonderful package, and she had some coffee ephemera in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to work with that. The weather's yucky. I can't get outside, can't do much. And so I thought we would sit here and combine this wonderful stack of coffee ephemera. And this isn't even all of it. This is just a small stack that I called with one of my printables from my Etsy store. This is called Coffee Chat. Now you can see that there are little coffee speech bubbles on this baby, but there are also other things kind of thrown in. But since the overall theme here was coffee, I thought that we would use this printable from my shop, which is available in my Etsy store, and I will link it in the description box below. So let's get started. There's just nothing like coffee. I love it, and I always have loved it. And I realized when I was thinking about doing this video just how often coffee is linked to a sweet memory or something like that for me. And I didn't even think about that until I started, kind of thinking about this little project today. I'm just going to start by cutting out some of these quotes from my printable. This one says, "My birthstone is a coffee bean." That's pretty funny. So, you think about coffee, you think about your early memories of coffee. My earliest memory of coffee is that my granddaddy, my Papa Manus, used to pour his coffee from his coffee cup into a saucer and drink it from the saucer. Now, I remember sitting on his lap at my grandma's kitchen table, watching him do that. He was very careful with it. It was very hot coffee. And I asked my mom the other day, I said, why did Papa pour his coffee into that saucer? She said, I just really don't know. That's how he just preferred to drink his coffee, from the saucer. She said it was probably just really hot. Maybe that's the reason that he did it. That's probably my very earliest coffee memory. And that's a good one, isn't it? You can see that I'm kind of trimming these a little smaller. I'm working with 3x3 cardstock. So I'm thinking I'm trimming my quotes, funny sayings, to kind of match that 3x3 format. Of course, if you're printing these off, I don't have a printer anymore. I had a fairly new printer, and the ice storm that we had in February knocked out the power, and it knocked out the printer, and Chris spent time with it, and he was like, it's already obsolete, and it was less than 2 years old. It's kind of really irksome. But it taught us to not need a printer. I mean, basically, he prints song lyrics. I printed printables, and I did scanning on my computer, on my printer. But I learned to scan on my phone. So it was like, well, why have this especially when it's going to be obsolete. There's a concept in marketing called planned obsolescence. Manufacturing encourages no repair, replace. And because you're replacing, you're adding stuff to the landfill all the time. And that was just another reason to not have a printer. I always just had a black and white printer. I didn't have a color printer. So now we don't have one at all. Okay, we've got fun things to work with here. We were talking about our coffee memories, and I'll just tell you about a few more. And then we got off into that printer thing, and then planned obsolescence, and you know how stuff like that just goes on and on and on. I love the way that Michelle, she even had in this envelope, she had on the front of the little cellophane envelope, she had coffee. You know, I mean, that it was written, coffee was written there. And it was just like, girl, so nice. Okay, so I think we're going to use this. And we got plenty of things to play with over here. And, you know, I mean, since we're doing this, we might even pull out a wee bit of Distress ink. I was going to see if I had like any kind of smaller. I make huge messes with ink pads, but I've got these small Distress inks. So maybe I'll pull out this nice frayed burlap, and maybe I won't make such a humongous mess with it, but you know, that remains to be seen. Okay, I need to make sure that I'm like all evened up here. Okay, we were talking about coffee memories. So another coffee memory, this is a very early coffee memory, is when we would go to the beach. Now this was a big deal, and if you've been here a while, you've heard me talk about the process of that 3-day once a year vacation going to Myrtle Beach. We would anticipate the day. My dad was self-employed, and that meant, you know, relying on a check to come, and before we could think about going to the beach, you know, the check would have to come. And I remember him bringing home the envelope that would have the check in it. It was a very big deal. So we would all sit at the kitchen table, and you know, I think he kind of made us think there was not going to be a check in the envelope. So we were all like on pins and needles, and we were all sitting there, and he would tear the envelope open on the side, not the top. He would tear the envelope open on the side, you know, kind of cut it with his penknife or whatever he had. And he would cut that out, cut it, and then he would take the envelope and kind of squeeze it and blow in it. And then he would go, oh, I was like, oh, do we get to go to the beach? Yes, there's a check in the envelope. So one of the big things as we were going on our little beach trip was to stop at Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut and a coffee. And my favorite donut was chocolate cream filled. So I remember that. That was like part of the ritual of going to the beach. So that's another sweet little coffee memory. This says my birthstone is a coffee bean. Now we kind of just stack some things on that just for, you know, just like fiber-ish kind of things, you know, just to kind of get us started there. There we go. All right, now let's see if I can not make a mess with the Distress ink. I also thought about rounding the corners on this, but that's another thing that I tend to make a mess with, so don't do that either. There we go. My birthstone is a coffee bean. All right. I love the way that, you know, Michelle has everything cut out. It just looks so sweet and made it easy to work with. She even has like some handmade coffee sheets here. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay. I think we're gonna, I really like using this. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it really does add like a bit of dimension and texture to the piece. That's always fun to just stack some things up. This is beautiful coffee dye paper. I've got some coffee dye going on downstairs. I brew coffee in the morning. I think I'm going to cut this. It says, before coffee, go away. I brew coffee in the morning, and then I take the coffee grounds, leave them in the coffee filter, and batch dye writing paper, envelopes, whatever, downstairs. And then after I'm finished using the filter and the coffee grounds to dye paper, then the filter and the coffee grounds go into my composting. So nothing is wasted. Nice, huh? That's kind of how life should be. Before coffee, go away. After coffee, go away, please. That's me. I think what we'll do, let's see if we have like Michelle cut some tiny little coffee cups here. Let me see if I can find them. Muffins. Oh, there we go. A little coffee cup right there. As well as the background with all these little coffee cups on it. It's cute. I lived with my sister for a while in Atlanta when I was working in Atlanta, and we would stand at the coffee pot and growl at each other, because at that time she still had like a drip coffee pot. Now she has a Keurig, but it was really funny. So it's like we go and we stand there with our coffee cups, cause we had to get to work, man. We cleaned houses. Her mostly, but when I was home, I would clean houses with her. Hey, I can't believe I didn't smudge that all over the place. Before coffee, go away. After coffee, go away, please. Right. Here's a coffee and croissant. Not all who wander are lost. Some of them are just looking for coffee. I'm going to try to do this. Today's a lucky day because I'm not making nearly the mess that I usually make. I'm not a very adept at... I kind of like the focal image right here of the coffee pot, but I'm not going to be able to make that work. I think maybe I'll choose a smaller quote for that. And we'll just do this. Not all who wander are lost. Most of them are just looking for coffee. Kind of like that. I could choose this. That's really neat, isn't it? Okay, a yawn. A yawn is a silent cry. A yawn is... I think we'll do this way. A yawn is a silent cry for coffee. My dad makes my mom's coffee every morning. When she starts stirring around, he makes her coffee. And my mom does not like brewed coffee. She likes instant coffee. And when we're there visiting them and we're there in the morning, that's what he does. I think that's very sweet after 64 years of marriage, that he still does that for her. Okay. I like that. Let's see. Let's just kind of add a little bit of texture. I'm really liking this. Handmade paper here. And then he not only makes her coffee, he brings it to her when she's sitting in the living room, and he'll put it on her little table. And then he spins the coffee cup around so she can reach over and the handle is right there. He always turns the handle toward her. Isn't that the sweetest thing? Think about your coffee memories. If you're a coffee drinker, you definitely got them. I remember Chris and I went for a drive when I first moved up here, and oh dear goodness, it was so cold that day, and we went to a restaurant, and it overlooked the river, and it was really pretty, and they had hot coffee, and we got Bailey's in it, and it was like being in heaven. There is nothing like a hot cup of coffee when you're just absolutely frozen. Whether you're frozen inside or out or both. A yawn is a silent cry for coffee. A day without coffee is like, just kidding, I have no idea. Oh gosh. Chris likes Frappuccino, those Starbucks Frappuccino things. And we were economizing several years ago. And I decided, that's funny, we were economizing several years ago, when the fact is that we economize constantly. But he really loves the Frappuccino, the Starbucks Frappuccino in the bottle. And I started making him Frappuccinos to take to his shop. It's like not the same thing, but good grief. We were economizing big time. Okay, so we can do that. And we've got one more to do. Right there. And here. All right. One more. Oh, hello. I just got one more to do and I'll be done. And say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
So we got Mia and Chris in the studio right now.
Don't forget Buzz.
And we got Buzz Lightyear and Thor and Loki.
Batteries, they gotta be taken out so it don't corrode. You take the batteries out so that it doesn't corrode and replace them.
I think those are the original batteries.
I think they are too. So
I bet they're magic batteries. Okay, this is another one that we're going to have to cut apart. But just remember, this printable is in my Etsy store, and I will put a link in the description box below so you can print off some coffee quotes and have fun with them. We're almost done. And coffee pairs nicely with silence. And there we go. Coffee pairs nicely with silence. A day without coffee is like, just kidding, I have no idea. A yawn is a silent cry for coffee. Not all who wander are lost. Most of them are just looking for coffee. Before coffee, go away. After coffee, go away, please. And my birthstone is a coffee bean. Thanks, Michelle, for sending us goodies to work with. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you guys soon. See you later. Bye.